I have a recent Ziyotek graduate who actually gave us her experience while studying at the time, but we decided to catch up with her a little bit and get her take on her progress and what life is after Ziyotek. Hi, Shakzoda, welcome back. Last we heard from you, you were still going through our cloud architect program, I believe, around the years of like 2022, 2023. So you're a recent graduate. Uh, Tell the people who you are, what you're about, and what have you been up to since graduation.
Hi, thank you for having me today. My name is Shakzoda. I did graduate from Ziyotek Cloud Architecture program in 2022, 2023. My journey has been very pleasant, I'd say. There have been some ups and downs with the finding a job and, interview process because that all can be nerve-wracking. But I was fortunate enough to land a job. I actually have accepted a cloud system specialist role at a company called Inductotherm. And my first date was actually on October 2nd of this year. So I've been at my current role for a little over 2 months.
Well, firstly, congratulations on getting the job. I think that was the immediate goal of our programs. Of course, that first job is the toughest one to get into. That's the foot in the door. But sounds like things are picking up for you. What was your experience in finding a job in the interview process? How was that for you?
So finding a job once we have graduated from cloud architecture program, officially finished our classes, we did turn in our final project with our teammates. After that, career services class started. And that was really helpful because there were a lot of points and advices that were made by the teacher, on how to approach this step because it is quite a bit of change especially for people that do not have a IT background. He actually took some advices from our teacher. Eventually he had us to work on our resumes, have submitted that to our teacher, where our teacher actually evaluated those resumes, and then he gave us our feedback. And once the resumes were good enough, we actually proceeded with applying, meaning, everyone were kind of on their own terms. So I personally started applying in June. So I was actively applying on mainly three platforms: on Dice, Indeed, and LinkedIn. So I was applying about from June to August, and then at the end of August, I was made an offer for my current position, and it was my first offer, so I did not hesitate to accept it. The interview processes were a little tough, but I mean, there's nothing that life cannot prepare you for.
I love that answer. So you briefed over, for example, career service that happens after graduation. Did that by any chance help you? So I know some students always tell us, that they think after 7 months you can be absolutely prepared. But usually I recommend career, people to stay for career service because you learn a little bit about selling yourself and what things to highlight in interviews. Do you feel like that helped you in landing your job?
It absolutely helped me, I'd say, because obviously you have to work towards your goal yourself, but all those extra advices from people that actually been through this path are very helpful. And then our teacher with our career services was very helpful, I'd say, because first of all, he helped us build a professional resume. That's your biggest uh, tool that you would use, in terms of looking for a job. Besides that, we were having classes, and in each class he made sure to go over the points of going through the interview, and then the possible questions that might be asked, and then how to approach these questions, what kind of answer would be most suitable for those questions. He also told us to approach it with a positive mind, obviously, because the person that's interviewing you essentially does not know you, but it is your job to sell yourself to that person. It's your job to introduce yourself as who you want to be introduced. And, whether that person will buy it or not, it's their own opinion, it's their own personal view, But we were in those career services. I personally was taught, like, I had a mind where, like, oh, like, there's certain things that I'm gonna say, but what if they're not very much true? Or there've been like some nuances that I was doubting myself, and then the career services helped me out a lot on approaching those steps. Like, it's okay, that person doesn't know you, you're the only person that knows you at that point. So really your job, how you're gonna bring yourself towards that interview, and then that person will accept you for whoever you're presenting, that person will accept. So I
Right.
believe that was the most helpful part for me because it kind of changed my mind.
But when you were taking the course versus where you are today, what was your mindset at the time? What were you going through? Students come with, all sorts of doubts, perhaps some
Yeah.
confidence issue. People are entering, a whole new career of IT, and they're starting fresh. So of course there's going to be some, overwhelming, better yet, things that are running through your head. Were you as confident then as you are now, or did you have some doubts? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in my first initial interview, it was at the annual picnic when we were invited to the Ziyotek picnic. So
Mhm.
at that time, I would not say I was confident in in myself. It all can like build up and like overwhelm you essentially, uh, but towards the end of my journey, I was actually pretty confident in my abilities. And just, I'd say my point of view changed quite a bit because it took us 7 months to complete this program, and then like it was 7 months of development. It was 7 months of learning, and obviously, like while you learn something constantly, you engage with people that are in this field all the time. You learn new things. You discover um, all of these new, programs. It changes your attitude towards things. So I'd say right now I'm 100% more confident compared to the time I had my initial interview.
The longer you're going through it, the more you're engaged. You're sort of immersed in that lifestyle. You're going through the schooling. You're talking to people with a like interest, and that's the point of having students participate, as well as having that motivation to enter that sort of field. It's not just going through the education blindly, but also partaking in it. Um, Pretty much, what we kind of understood the situation to be in the first place. But it's the most important thing is knowing that after the program things started to make more sense. You connected more dots, and things were, I guess, easier to understand, or you were more privy to the sort of language, quote unquote, of within IT, or your field in general.
Yes.
Are you in general happy with your experience at Ziotech?
I'm absolutely happy with my experience with Ziotech. First of all, because we had great directors. They were very outgoing. They were very responsive to, all the requests or questions that we had initially. Big thank you to Mamurakya because he actually helped me to make the final decision on accepting the offer that I was made because I was hesitant to accept it. Besides that, great teachers. It was very fun experience because we've gotten closer with a lot of people in my class, especially with my team. And because we obviously met 4 times a week for 2, 3 hours, and that actually like we made new connections. It's new friendships. It's great. And then the cloud architecture itself, it's a very interesting field, I'd say, because I never knew you could do these things and being an IT person that we're doing right now. For instance, like my current job requires a lot of automation. So
Hmm.
like automating manual things are very fun for me. Like personally, I enjoy doing those things. So, like it's a new skill that you learn. I'm thankful that I joined this program. So because now I'm at the position that I am because of Ziotech, I'd say, obviously like for my own, I tried, I studied, I passed the interviews, but it was kind of Ziotech. It was me being introduced to Ziotech kind of first step. That was my first step in my current journey, I'd say, so
Ziotech just gives you the materials. You're the one that
yeah, it
you were
gives
the
you the
driver behind
tangible
the wheel.
tools. Yeah, yeah. It's just like it's like you being thrown into this program, like you don't know what are you gonna be able to do it or not. Like, what is this? It does not make sense to me. Like, what am I doing right now? But like it just takes time. Like just keep on going. And after a while, everyone it takes a different amount of time for everybody. But after a while, it starts making sense. It starts making it starts being fun. You actually start enjoying doing these things, and you kind of like look forward to it. Obviously, like the monetary compensation, it's so much better compared to like some other jobs, that require
Yeah.
quite a lot of experience and quite a lot of education. I'd say, if you're trying to save some time and money, that's something definitely people should look into.
What kind of advice would you give to a new student, for example, Ziyotek student, someone that is entering a program right now, they're coming in with doubts.
Yeah.
You've lived the doubts. What would you tell them if you could speak to yourself maybe like a year ago or so?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I would say not to be scared, to be honest, because your fear takes a best of you at all times, like, but you have to put that fear aside. You have to risk it all and just do it. Because what is the worst thing that can happen to you if you do it and then it doesn't turn out to be the way you wanted it to be, right? I mean, there's always a positive aspect to it. At the end of the day, you have learned a new skill that can you always put to use. You can always put it to your resume, although you may not end up with an IT job. It does not matter. I'd say like you have to personally look into it from a very positive view. This is something educational, this is something developmental, this is something that would be beneficial to you regardless of how you if you end up in an IT field or not.
Right.
And
Right.
also, I'd say um, it's okay to have doubts. It's okay to feel down because I fell down too, and I just I was thinking like maybe I shouldn't have done this, because there's times that you're gonna fail the interviews. There's time that your answers will not be enough for the interviewer. There are gonna be times where you're gonna be rejected. Your applications will not be accepted, and that's okay. That is all part of the journey because at the end of the day, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and that opportunity is waiting for it. It's just a matter of time, how long it's going to take you to get there. You just have to keep on pushing, keep on doing, keep on applying, keep on learning new things. Do not stop just with Ziyotek program because cloud architecture program is great. Whatever Ziyotek covers is great, but it's so much deeper. There's so many more platforms. There's so many more softwares and infrastructures and this and that you have to learn, that you have to be at least aware of. That would, I think, being aware of the new things and new developments in this field is like a key for you to be relevant. Because if you're at the end of the day, if you're not relevant in your interview, you're just making a wrong impression to that person. So you have to be active, you have to be responsive, you have to be quick, you have to know your stuff and answer the questions to your best knowledge. And if you don't know them, they're human too. Just be like, you know what? I may not know this right now, but give me some time and you'll see I will come prepared. I will know this in our next conversation. And number one thing, be very, very, very confident because those people look for confidence. If you're not confident in yourself, how can they be confident in you, in hiring you? How can they know that you are the person that would, do good for their company? So
Right.
just be confident in yourself,
Right.
trust yourself. That's my